Good morning and happy Wednesday. It has been since last Wednesday since I was with you, and I apologize. But I promise we've got an incredible series to come back to. A jam-packed 5. I actually had to leave some on the cutting room floor because it's amazing. When you get the NBA back, when you get the NHL back, when the NFL is on its way back, college football is, well, we'll get to that in just a second. But for those of you that haven't tuned in before, this is the Hi5 series by the DH Podcast. So we are a weekly podcast, and our new episode just dropped this morning as well. So please go check that out. But what this does is this not only gives you a sneak peek, but it gives you a chance to hear from us 3 times a week instead of 1, to where every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you are getting updates about the biggest news in sports and why you need to know, why you need to care, why it matters. What are the numbers? Anything like that. All right, let's kick it off with the ACC, specifically North Carolina. North Carolina is now suspending in-state classes for a little bit longer because they're not having COVID cases climb and continue to climb. They're above 50 right now, whereas you also see this happening at Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. But you don't realize this is what happens when you take people and you put them together. Dorms are all covered on top of each other. Houses are so close together to one another. And you knew it was going to happen. So now what do? You may have to make sure that your procedures are strict and that your procedures are clearly laid out for everybody to see. Because if the procedures work, then it doesn't matter if people get infected. People are going to go out, they're going to go to parties, they're going to get drunk, they're going to do everything, and it's just going to happen. You have to be able to say, all right, well, if we're doing in-person classes, we know that this is a consequence. We know that this is going to happen. We cannot keep students locked in their dorms. We cannot keep students locked in their houses. That's just simply never how any of this could work. And if you ever thought it could, you're so naive. And I'm talking to you administrators because you seem to have forgotten what it was like when you were in college. You just seem to think that, oh, well, we can ask them politely to do this or we can make them do this. Let me tell you what you can't do. You can't ask them politely. You can't tell them because they're going to do what they want to do. If they want to throw a party, they're going to throw a party. You can break it up, but it's already too late at that point. So you knew what was happening. You knew what was coming down the tracks when you put this train in motion about having students be on campus. Now, typically, it's a very it's not an at-risk population. So you know that somebody is not, I believe it's less than 1% of the people that are even catching it are having to be put on ventilators. Now, of course, I might get yelled at. I don't have the numbers. Deal with it. Number 2, Big Ten's weird right now because 2 weeks ago, well, probably 10 days ago, that they suspended their fall sports, which means they were going to try to resume in the spring. And that was hopeful at best anyway. But now with new technology, like we have saliva testing that's more rapid than anything, but it also gives a more accurate readout than other rapid tests that have been performed. Example, when the president goes around, he's using these rapid tests. And now he should be using the new ones too. But doesn't matter. What the Big Ten is now trying to do is they're trying to see if they can play in the fall like everybody wants them to. So why is this a big deal? Well, you get everybody coming down hard on Commissioner Warren. And Commissioner Warren was the final nod. He gave presidents the vote, university presidents the vote. They voted 12-2 to postpone the season. So he is the mouthpiece for these presidents. And the big commissioner has continued to say that we will continue to look at it for the spring. Well, a lot of pressure is being put on them to try and see what they can do about maybe reversing course. This is a huge ship to reverse course. Why? Well, one, because you're now asking players and students that you told to go home to come back. or that weren't following specific protocols to now being having to follow specific protocols. So you're asking the people on the ground to do so much work. But again, if they had waited just a couple weeks, then they would have figured out about this new technology. They would have figured out about this new testing. And you got to think about it this way. They have an easy out. Warren has the easiest excuse of all time. He goes, hey, you know what? We postponed, but then we've been made aware of different technologies that not only the FDA, the CDC, Jesus Christ has supported. And with that, we think that we can now make this work because they alleviate our largest concerns. But I promise you, they're not going to say that. You don't want to know why? Because they're dumb as hell. All these guys. So dumb. All right. Number 3 is you got both number 1 seeds to lose in the same day for the NBA playoffs. I have no idea when the last time that was happened, but the Magic beat the Bucks and the Blazers beat the Lakers. And both those games weren't particularly close in the fact that the Magic won by 12. And sometimes you just got to take a breath before you say something absolutely dumb. Because I never thought that the Lakers were going to sweep the Blazers. But you have every pundit, every commentator out there that say, oh, well, you got to watch out for them. I still don't think any of these 8 seeds have a chance. Even if it was Game 7 on the line right now, they're not winning. You want to know why? It's because it's Antetokounmpo, who is top 3 players in the league. Oh, and it's because it's LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who are 2 of the top 5 players in the league. They won't lose. Simple as that. They're not going to. It's always how it goes. Was sweep ever in contention? Well, not anymore. Damian Lillard is deserving of the regular season MVP. Or if they're doing something between like pre-COVID, post-COVID, if you want to give the guys a bubble MVP, Dame sure as hell won that one. Locked it up real quick. Number 4, I just tried to do three. Clearly, this isn't working whatsoever. Bad at hands. Fernando Tatís apologized. It's the only mistake that dude made. Taking that 3-0 meatball to the moon, good. These are good things. And as we talked about on the latest episode, nobody's mad. There are about 3 people on the internet are mad. We're just assuming that everybody else is mad. But they're not. They're not. And if you want the game to continue to grow younger, instead of having your median age of listeners be above the age of 57, well, then it's time to look introspectively. Because you know what? This is your fault. The reason why we don't let people pimp home runs, or why we don't encourage pitchers to go nuts after a huge strikeout, why we encourage like everybody to be buttoned up and polished and perfect. Well, you want to know what? That's not entertaining. And I can go be entertained by 7 different things, especially in a world where I have 3 different screens right now in front of me, and I got a 4th in the other room, just for me. That when it's time, something needs to be so entertaining to captivate a younger audience. And these guys all polished up won't work. Simple as that. So if you want the game to grow, if you want the game to continue to succeed, which these baseball players do, they love baseball more than anything. And that's why they not only love playing it, but they love being a part of the culture. Well, it's time to share the good parts of that culture. Because right now, the slow parts, the unwritten rules part, they're slowing down that great culture from continuing to spread to the younger crowd. And also, what was his name? I'm going to find it right now for you guys. And I'm okay with this because I saw somebody tweet it earlier about the Padres manager. And the Padres manager is Tingler. You're fired. You should be fired. I mean that, no jest. I'm not kidding. When you put the unwritten rules and you put your opponent's feelings and, oh, well, I didn't want to give up a grand slam, so why did he hit a grand slam off me? Oh, no. Go to hell. I can't believe that anybody is not taking their own teammates and their own players above these unwritten rules. And the fact that he is right here, despicable. It really is. And if I'm, this guy's the manager, if I'm the general manager or if I'm the owner group, I'm having a meeting and I'm saying, well, dude, we got to get him out. But you know what? They won't. So you know what we need to look to? We need to look to the players. We need to look to a player-centered, not a coup, because that makes it sound like this is some military operation, but it's going to be simply as a bunch of players getting together by the end of the season and saying, hey, this guy is not our guy. He does not have our backs. He never has. And now he has shown you A through Z that he never will. And we don't want that. We won't play or whatever. I mean, whatever it takes for that to work. All right, number 5 is Masai Ujiri. Did I get that one right? I don't think I did. Masai Ujiri. How did I mess that up? Is countersuing Alan Strickland. Now, most people have no idea who the hell Alan Strickland is. That's okay. Alan Strickland is he is a sheriff. Yeah, he's a sheriff, and what he did was he would not let Masai onto the court after the Raptors. So what happened was after the Raptors won the finals, a sheriff's job is to keep the press, keep any nobodies off the court, because it's just supposed to be team, it's maybe a little family, and the ownership group. And what we see here is we see Masai being pushed back twice after telling this man and showing him proof that he is the president of basketball at Toronto. And I'm going to read this quote to you because it is phenomenal. Strickland began the lawsuit. One, to know that you're blatantly in the wrong and begin a lawsuit is a preposterous move, because he said that, quote, he's quote, suffered and will continue to suffer physical, mental, emotional, and economic injuries, including but not limited to lost wages, lost opportunity for financial gain, future earning capacity, and past medical and future medical care and expenses. Well, Strickland, that's your own damn fault. That's what happens when you see a man and you make a blanket assumption about who he is, shove him, see his badge, hear what he has to say, and then continue to not believe him. Why don't you believe him, Strickland? Why don't you believe him? Interesting. There are a lot of lawsuits that I hope end in a loss, and this is one of them. I see no way. Now that Strickland's body cam footage was shown, and for whatever reason, I don't know why it's taken so long, we've also seen footage of the security tape. Well, looks like you are going to lose, Strickland, because you have never after this, you will never have any future earning potential. Promise you that. Because nobody's going to want to hire a dumbass cop that doesn't know how to control his emotions. Promise you that. But what you'll also have to do is every future earning, you're going to have to pay to Masai. Because you fucked up. Simple as that. You made a mistake. You didn't believe a man who was telling the truth. I don't know why. Well, that's on you. All right, everybody. This has been the DH Podcast Hi5 series for what is today? Today's August 19th. Dear God. July and August went by quick. Nothing else did, though. It's weird. Don't explain that one to me. All right, everybody. We will see you on Friday, but please, we're going to see a lot of elimination games today in the NHL. We're going to see some really decisive NBA games to either go up 2-0 or to be tied 1-1. So pay attention, study up. I'll see you guys on Friday.